हाँ हाँ बोलो मुझे क्लास शुरू से जाओ क्लास क्लास शुरू से तो
Let me know once my screen is visible.
हाँ हाँ जाओ हाँ sorry
Now my screen is visible.
yes
Great. So till now, you have any question, or I can start the new things?
You can.
whatever you can start
You can start.
So as you ask something about this terminology like JDK, JRE, and JVM. So I just give a brief hint again.
sure
That again recap your mind.
sure
So as yesterday I say there are three terminology: one JDK, one JVM, one JRE. So as I discussed, JDK is the bigger software or bigger component, and they can hold each and everything related to Java applications. Okay, so generally this JDK are used by the Java developer or programmer. Okay, JDK stand for Java Development Kit, right? So for developing any Java applications, always required JDK. So JDK have a again some further component like JRE. By default they come JRE, Java Runtime Environment.
okay
So Java Runtime Environment means ki for running your Java application, they need some library. They need some predefined standard help classes, help function, right? So those are this Java Runtime Environment provide. Finally, all your codes are run or executed by your JVM.
Okay.
JVM. So JVM is the final software which responsible to give instruction our operating system. Hey operating system, please execute this instruction. So this JVM give instruction to native operating systems, right?
right
Right.
So majorly JDK have a lots of component, but basically lots of tool utility available here. Mainly we are using the Java compiler. You can say Java C, which are Java compiler, which help us to compiling our Java source code into the bytecode, right?
right
You notice whenever yesterday I written a code, I have written some method like public static void main, then system dot out dot println. So system is a class. So from where those class, what is the definition of those classes will be? So those things, all the library standard set of classes already available. Let's I write system dot out dot println means to print some output on our screens. So those are just functions we are using. So what is the implementation, what is the logic of those functions that are provided by your Java runtime environment, means the standard set of library, set of classes by default uh, JRE have. So once those system library exist, then whatever the my new class we retain and compile, those compile class pass to the JVM. JVM again interpret the machine level language, and machine level language instructions go to the OS, and finally OS give output on its screen. See the recap about JDK, JRE, and JVM.
right
Till now, any doubt, any question? Because this is very basic things. Okay, you should aware.
true
I have a quick question.
Yes.
You know the class library. So
Hmm.
that comes from JRE.
Yeah.
That's the idea, right? That
Right.
comes from JRE. Okay.
Right.
And when we write code, we inherit from there. We
Right.
inherit.
Right. This is the yes inheritance. This is the OOPS principle. Whenever in subsequent section we'll discuss ki what is the inheritance details, right? But assume ki for running Java code, each and everything developer cannot write, right? they need takes help of some existing classes in library which JRE offer. Like printing anything on a console, this is the developer don't know how to write any code that can print on the screen. Okay, so for that JRE offers some classes like system class, out class, print class, right? Print method, so that we are just as a Java developer using those things to just get output on a screen, right?
Yes.
Right.
Right.
So this any time someone asks you what is the JDK, what is the JRE, and what is the JVM, you should clear bigger picture. This is the very big term, means JDK is a big software which have a two more component, Java compiler and JRE. And JRE have again two component, a set of library and the JVM. JVM have also set of component like Java byte verifier, interpreter, and finally JVM have some scheduler, because any things you want to execute on the operating system, you have to schedule this instruction I want to run. So JVM have a scheduler thing, scheduling they are requesting our operating system, hey operating system, I have a one instruction, please execute. So OS receive those instruction, execute, and give proper response. So
Right.
till now, it's okay. Now
Yes.
let's jump to the next topic, right?
Sure.
Sure.
So I just close. Let's create one simple class and so public static void main. So this is the basic structure. Till now, we have to write one class, and class name. This is the class name, and we'll discuss what is the meaning of class in later classes. As of now, just this is the one class. Class name is a test one, and this is the your main method from where our application is starting, right? So generally, last class I written like a system dot out dot println, okay, and here like a test message. Notice this is the some class. This is the which customer I writing a one class. The system is a one already class written by the Java itself for which from where this definition come. This definition provided by the JRE to us. Okay. Similarly, system class have one variable out, and out have another function or method. You can say print ln. They are taking some input, and whatever you input pass, they are printing on the screen, right?
Right.
So till now, assume ki any things you want to give output as a screen, you have to use this method. Okay, this method is not written by you, but this method is provided by Java itself. Okay, so this is the one package like I've discussed, but the definition, the logic, how this method test message are printing an output as a Java developer, we don't know. Just we are using this print ln function that responsible to printing the message. Okay,
Yes.
who will provide the definition, logics, what written inside the print function? That is the responsibility of JRE is offering those library. Okay, is it clear?
It's clear.
JRE is offering system.out.
Yes, yes. JRE offer this class. System is a one pre-defined developed by Java Sun system.
Right.
If you look this definition, editor offer you this provide the definition. So notice this is a class already written by since Java 1, and this class have a lots of method things. And similarly, if you notice this is the out. Out is the one variable. I'll discuss what is the variable.
Okay.
So today I'll discuss what is the variable. Okay, so this is the variable out, and out is the again types of your one class print string. And you notice this print method is provided by, this is the logics. Okay. So this is provided by your print stream as a class. So the print stream is a class provided by the JRE to us. Similarly, system is a class provided by JRE to us. Right?
Okay.
So as I assume, there are some set of classes Java by default offer to the Java developer. So how Java developer use those? In the form of JRE. So by default, whenever you run program, JRE give you this classes definition so that your code aware, okay, how to print this message on my screen.
Right.
Like in might be aware of C, C++, there is a concept of some include file, header file, right? Like C have also function like the printf. Then those functions are provided by the your header file library, right?
True.
Similarly.
Yeah.
So now let's move to the next. In any Java program, I want to achieve something. Let's say I want to add two number, right? So how I want to give instruction to the Java JVM so that JVM can give instruction to the operating system and operating system print your message. So in a real life, you say I want to add in the mathematics, I want to add A and B. So generally in the math, you say okay, variable like if you go to the basic mathematics, right? Basic mathematics have some like A variable, A have a value like a 20, right? And like a B variable, B have a like a 30, and I want to add plus, so you say A plus B. So you are getting some value, right?
Right.
So these are the things generally each language offer. So similarly, but as a human being, as a mathematics sake, this is the 20 is a number, yeah, 30 is a number. But here in a programming language, by default, compiler don't know what kind of value you are going to add. You are might be there are some concept decimal number, right? 45.50. This is some decimal number. So if we are going to, so A equal to 20, or if someone say A equal to 25, so how compiler know this variables are going to hold the whole number or decimal number? So Java say, let's I define predefined syntax. Anyone going to declare some variable, they follow some rules. So what is the rule? They say ki whatever your variable name, give the variable name. It's okay. I am like A here. And whatever the value you want to assign, this is you can assign your value here. Let's 7. And but you have to also inform that this 7 is of what kind of value. This is the integer value, or decimal value, or float value, or string value. What kind of things you are going to assign in this variable? So here, before that, we have to here give the data types. Man, this is might be int, right? Or might be float, might be double. So going to declare any variable, you have to give the variable name and what the value you want to assign and the which kind of value. Here kind of value can be in Java have a you can say different kind of value. Let's example data type, you can say data type. So generally so one have a data type like int, one data type like
float.
Yeah, float. Float. Similarly, we have a Java have a one more type byte. I'll discuss byte, short, short, int, and the long.
Yeah.
These are the
Data.
these are the all your whole number data types. Like in the mathematics, whole number, right? And whole number means without a decimal number, right? Without floating number. And for decimal number, there are two data types: float and double. Okay. And for any single character, like this is a char data types. And for a sequence of character, then is a string class. So finally, and sometime you have to declare, take a decision, value true, false, Boolean kind of. This is the one data type more is the Boolean.
Brilliant.
Okay.
Right. So in generally, for if you want to store any whole number like 1, 2, 10, 5, so you can use this data type like byte, short, int, long. And similarly, you want to store some decimal number, then you can use a float, double. And sometimes use a single character, like I want to, this is the single character A, right? A, right? So this is the, in programming language, this is the one character, right? So
Right.
uh, how you can, in which variable they are going to assign. For those, you have to
Yeah.
use the type character.
Char.
And let's you have a car, yes, char. Or you have a, let's key like hello. This is the one multiple sequence of character. So here
Right.
you can say use double code here, double code this character, and now this is known as Java string, right?
Yeah, string. Yeah.
So yeah.
So if you have any like a number system like 1, 2, so this is by default your integer data types, and by default let's keep 45.5. This is a floating number, and your single character like this. Okay, any single character, this is the car, or sequence of character, this is a string, right? But whenever you are writing this way, your compiler is not happy. Compiler, how to say? Somehow you have to give this instruction, right? So
Right.
so these are the one things why for holding integer number there are four kind of data types. Okay, so they have a differences between the your number of whenever you are going to declare any variable, your compiler needs some memory to store, right? So if they allocate some byte of space, right? So these are different data types have a different kind of storage capability. They take 8 byte, they take a 16 byte, they take a 32 byte, they take a 64 byte.
Right.
Right. So if you are storing 8 byte of data, then you can only byte. If you want to 16 byte of data, then you can store short. If you want a 32 bit, then int. 64 byte, then long. Similarly for here double, 16 byte, and this is most probably 64. Okay.
Okay.
So and character also by default 16. So these are the why different kind, because you know initially days our RAM memory are very costly and limited. Each machine or laptop not have enough space you can use lot your application can hold lots of memory. So that due to I know I want to only store particular value 1 to 20, then 40 value range between, let's keep from 1 to 20 I want to hold some value. So why I am going to use integer? Why they are allocating 32 bytes of space? Why not I can use only byte one that can solve my purpose? But someone want to store 38,400 some different bigger number, then they are going for this number, right? Bigger
Right.
number, then go for this. So depend upon the our use case, what kind of value we are going to store, different data types we have to select, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So why need a data types? Because I want to inform JVM I want to going to process some value. Value can be number system, decimal system, or character system. So
Correct.
these are the keyword or special uh, words which indicate JVM. Hey JVM, Java developer want to something processing some number system, right? Or processing some string number, character something, right? Or
Right.
this is the kind of a Boolean. Boolean means sometime I want to take a true and false value. They have only two possible value, okay? True and false.
Correct.
And strings depend upon the number of sequence of character, right?
Right.
Right.
So these things known as a primitive data type. Primitive data type means they have a fixed uh, byte of byte of space defined by the JVM itself. If you are declaring here, let's you declaring uh, byte byte b equal to 10, right? So they know I have only allocate 8 byte of space, right? So this is the value. This is known as a variable name. Here
Variable
variable name
and
can be age, right?
yeah.
Or can be like similarly, let's sort. Can be define calculation.
Mhm.
Any uh, logical name you have to specify. So here variable name is the, you can say, sequence words. Words can be one words or multiple words. Let's say I want to get age, right? Int.
Mhm.
So get age. So if you want to make your variable name of a two words, so first word start with a small letter and
Mhm.
second word start with a capital letter. This is the Java coding guidelines, you can say. It is a not mandatory things, but as a Java programmers, we have to follow some coding standard. How,
Mhm.
in which way you are giving a variable name, right? So
Right.
Java variable name always start with a small letter, and if your variable name is more than one word, you can say first word is a small and next word is a like,
Starting
right,
with it. Yeah.
capital letter. So similarly, if you want to long, any things you can specify here, right?
Right.
Right.
So similarly, if you want to declare float, so you write a float. Let's AB, and here if you write like 45.6, so here you have to say whenever you're going to the give the float variable, you have to mention here f variable, so that compiler know कि this is your uh, uh, float, right? A float variable. If you're not mentioning a float, compiler is not happy. Say sometimes compiler is give error, right? Say they
Mm.
say कि, look like this is the by default this is a double number. So whenever in future you are, want to declare any variable as a float, so you have to mention here f, right? Similarly, long lng
Long. Yeah.
uh, here, so you have to mention l, small letter l.
Right.
So this is the some indication compiler, because ki how system know ki this is the your integer or long somehow. Similarly for double double
Double is something point something.
D.
yeah, d if you're not by default like this way, if you're not mentioning anything, so by default this assume double. If I
Oh,
remove this, all the decimal number by default their compiler understand this is a double by default.
okay.
Mhm. Mhm.
If you're not mentioning f means float, else by default it is double. You mention d or not mention, that not required.
Okay.
Similarly, for byte, sort, int, there is no any kind of indicator mention. For long, you have to mention L.
Sure. Okay.
So in generally, we just give a two indicator, one for long L and second float for F. Rest by default give the value. Compiler understand कि this is the decimal number, this is the whole number.
Right.
Got it. Right.
And like for character, uh, any name like check variable, and you can give any character, maybe single digit, double digit, anything. So by default, variable declaration rule is that you have mention your data types, okay, data types, then
Mhm.
your variable name, then equal to, and whatever the value you want to pass. Value should be type of this, right? So this is the syntax, like data type. What is the syntax? First, we have to data type.
Right.
Then after that, your say in this way. Yeah, thinking so. Data type. Then you can say variable name.
Right.
What happened?
And the value.
And there are two ways to declare variable. One variable name and give your semicolon. Or second way, I will explain variable name and assignment operator and your value. Sometime you know what is the value which I want to initialize. Like here I am generally here whatever the variable I am declaring, I am giving the value as well as. But sometime I say I am declaring one variable integer x and I'm not giving any value, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Later
Yeah.
part I can say x equal to 89. Maybe here
Right.
write something calculation, right? Whatever
Right.
the you want. But this is not mandatory ki always assignment operator needed. This is the assignment operator, right?
Right.
Right.
But let's see, I am going to print this x here before assigning value. Let's say I want to print the value of what is the x. So if you're
X is
not
equal
assigning
to-
any value, so what is the value of x? Compiler
Then
is complaining error, right?
true.
Compiler say a variable x might not be initialized. So any variable you are declaring before going to use, you have to give some values. Like here, AB already initialized here, so I can properly use them. But here you have just you can say declare the x variable, but what is the value of x you cannot specify. So here you cannot use x. But here I am declare variable x, but here I am going to initialize value, and after that I can use system.out and filter. So if I am going to here here and here I am printing the same, now compiler happy, yes, I can use the value of x, right? X is the 89.
Okay.
So one thing note, whenever you are declaring the variable declaration have two steps. Steps one, uh, okay. Uh, where, where's the class move? One second. So now you are getting your test message, whatever the message here written initially, right?
Yeah.
Remove it. And now you are getting the value of x is initialized. So whenever you are going to declare any variable, there are two steps. First step is the declaration. Okay, variable
Mhm.
declaration, variable
Mhm.
declaration.
Declaration first. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
And second steps might be initialization.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And sometime you can say you can combine both declaration plus initialization.
That's in one line.
Yes, one line.
Declaration. Okay.
Right. This is the.
Yeah, okay.
So this is the, can say, this is the two-way. First is the two steps. First is you
Mhm.
declare, then assign. Here, maybe declare and then assign again. Right?
Right.
Right, right.
So generally depend upon, let's in next coming classes, sometime I'll talk about the object and classes. That time many times we are just declaring value, but later part we are initializing.
Okay.
Okay,
Right,
so as of
right.
now understand, you declare Java variable in a two manner. One is the just declare data types and variable name, mention semicolon. Semicolon, by default Java say if one line is completed, how I know your line is completed. So this is your line terminational indicator for JVM. You can write the semicolon. Many other languages sometimes not support the any indicator for next line, right?
Mhm.
So here say if you write this, this is the one is statement. This is another statement, right? This is another statement. The
Mhm.
semicolon is the just if you're not writing semicolon, compiler complain error, right? You have a somehow this is the one error, right? So
Okay, so that will be error
yeah,
without.
that will be error. Your code is not compiled, right?
Yeah.
So here say expected semicolon, right? Expected semicolon here. So this is the beauty of your editor. Whenever you're writing code, at the same time this is a compiler error, right?
Mhm.
If you're writing in a notepad, you write the code, once run or compile, at that time you found, oh, I missed the semicolon things, right? In slide
Mhm.
number
Right.
32. So
Right.
whenever we are using editor by default help. Whenever writing anything, automatic they compile and check the syntax and semantic, right?
Right. Right.
Right.
So, uh, so this is the was as usual no ki semicolon is used to indicating is the line completion indicator to the JVM.
Mhm.
And your variable can be declare and initialization maybe two phase or one line. Sometime declaration like here your first declaration and then initialization, right? This is the one.
Right.
Second way you can do same way, in declaration plus initialization in the same line.
Mhm.
Like here example, like here integer a, just declare here you can say b equal to 90, right?
Right.
So
So
this uh,
giving value means initialization.
yes,
That
right.
that's what it means.
Yes. Here directly say you say integer b equal to 78, right?
Right.
So is it clear? In the Java, you can declare variable and initialize maybe in the two way, the separate line or in the one line. You can say.
Right.
Right. Right. Okay.
Till now, any question? We have a different data types,
Hmm.
right?
Right.
And these are the variable name. Variable name I have some naming convention guidelines. Always your variable name should be start your small letter, or you have some special character. You can say like underscore. You can also use underscore test. Okay, underscore also allow, and one special character like dollar. Dollar also allow to as a variable name. Like, but you cannot say any variable name like one in this way.
Okay. That will error. Okay.
Yeah, that will error because you cannot start any Java variable name with a number.
Number first, yeah.
right? So always start with the character or underscore or dollar.
Okay.
But it's a good practice to start with the small letter and then
Small letter, always good practice. Start the one letter
but not with
and
the underscore.
later part your capital letter. But Java is not enforcing. Let's say I say capital A, it's okay.
Yeah.
Okay? But generally, always you start with a small letter.
Small
Small
letter.
letter.
This is a good practice. Generally, each developer using, and all the Java code written is in the same format. Like this is if you look this class, this class already Java provided. If you notice, all the variable in this class might be declare. This is the class. Class name always study. I say class name always start with the first character letter, and now this is the variable, right? All the variable start with a small letter. So this is Java standard library. Okay, and if your variable have a two-word text out, the out would be the capital letter, right?
Right.
Char out, char is the output letter. So this is the guidelines so that in future someone going to read your code, they are familiar, they are easily understand. They are not feel some awkward, right?
Right.
Right.
So this is the things about your variable name and data types.
Well known data. Yeah.
And similarly, one more data type like Boolean. So Boolean say let's if I say like Boolean, Boolean like B1, and here you can say assign value true
Or false.
or assign value false, false, or you can assign value like here say let's uh, I declare one integer x equal to 90
Mm-hmm.
and integer y equal to let's say 80. So I say here uh, x greater than y. So
Yeah.
whatever the value, depend upon value, this value may be true or false.
True.
Whatever the value, right?
Yeah.
So currently
True.
here x greater than y, yeah, true. That means the P3 is the true.
True.
Run. So sometime you know this always is true. Some things already x assigned somewhere. Yes. So here just say x1.
Oh, okay.
One things we notice whenever you declare any variable one time, same time you cannot declare the variable.
Oh,
Duplicate
so,
variable is not allowed.
yeah.
This is
Okay.
also one thing we note. So these are some practice whenever you are doing writing code by default you are aware. So now notice the B3 value is a
True.
what? I change to here 9, right? So
Mm-hmm.
9 is greater than y? Surely
No.
not. So it
Yes.
will say false. So your boolean can be conditional or directly value. The possible value true or false only,
Yeah.
right? And similarly, like char data types, character say ch equal to any single character you can write here. Uh, and they just print your single character, whatever the single character you have.
Single to A. Yeah.
And even this single character, I have one more options. You can add ch1. You can write here 95 number. This is the why I can write the 95 number here because you know each the character have a some
Mm-hmm.
Unicode, right?
Right.
From human readable perspective, this is the A, but in the computer, this is no any A word.
No.
Computer know the only
Zero
numbers.
one.
Numbers can be converted to the 0 1, right?
Right.
So A small letter A value is the 95. So if I print again here,
Mm-hmm.
ch1, it will print not 95, it will print the converted value.
Mm-hmm.
Underscore, see 96, I think, is the value of A. You can check all the ASCII character of, okay, 1 minute. It might be, 95, 96. 1 minute, check Google. What is the ASCII value? So these are the all whatever the letter your display level letter have a number system, right?
Sure.
This is your decimal number and hexadecimal.
Mm-hmm.
So if you go to the A,
Yeah.
capital A is 65, okay?
Still, right.
Right.
65. So notice they print the A. When I just remove it,
Mm-hmm.
right? This is
Right.
the similarly. If you look other value like small letter, oh 97 is small letter, 95 is this underscore, 96 is the tilde, 97 is the your right. So in this way you can (97). Okay. So sometime this guy data types is a sign number, sometimes single character, right?
Right.
And this is the Boolean data type, int data type, float, double, all I cover. Yes. So generally till now you have uh, any number system or decimal system or any single character. Sometime you want to handle the word. So word we have not any, we have to use a string s equal to hello, right?
Right.
So in generally in our programming language, we are going to manage a process generally any string words or any number system or any character or any conditional true false value. For these data types we have to use, but rule for the variable declaration or initialization is the same. You have to first data types, then variable name, then assignment, and then value, right?
Right.
But similarly same you can do like here string name, here just
Yeah.
stick here, and later part you can say name equal to test, right? Many things. So till now any doubt question key what is the data types, what is the variable name, how to declare variable, how to initialize variable?
I'm clear.
Great. So these are the very basic things almost in the different language scripting language. Might be differences about the data type. Some programming language say first variable name, then data types, then value, but Java follow first data types, then variable name, then assignment operator, then assigning the value, right?
Right.
And these are the things, but there is a one more concept. This is the concept var, and like t equal to 30, right? Here I'm not specifying key what is the this value. This is the variable kind of data types. So this was introduced I think Java 10 or 11. Before you have to not say, and even you can say s out t. So here runtime compiler say depend upon the value they can identify the data type of t, right? So this is the new syntax. Maybe other languages also offer this, but Java offered from like here say I'm say like here again var ss. Let's I want to assign here like one. So they automatically identify this is your string of value. So here you have to not specify anything, just say bar. depend upon the value, you can identify the value. Let someone say here, say you can say here, say dot. If you did dot length, so this class have a some method like, right?
I
uh,
mean, class method.
uh, uh,
No, name method, or what's called
yes,
that? That's a variable
right,
name.
variable. So if you notice, this is the name variable, and
Yeah,
this is the one method like two uppercase. So only
right.
string class have a two uppercase method. If you run, it will say ki name equal to uppercase, right?
If it is,
Right.
yeah, yeah.
And here you also say dot to uppercase,
Mm-hmm.
right? So here compiler identify with the help of value ki SS is a string. But let's now one is a capital letter, right?
Yeah.
But I say here I pass like a 78. And
Mm-hmm.
compiler, no, yeah, this is the not your string. So you cannot use the two uppercase, right? So here
Automatic.
compiler have a intelligence. Now you cannot use this two because this is the integer value. So only by default, if you are not using this keyword here, it will find.
Mm-hmm.
They are assuming this SS become a integer data types, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
So be carefully we use this bar keyword, right?
right.
Right.
Bar keyword is a run compile time. Compiler decide ki what value you are going to initialize. Accordingly, I decide the data types. And bar keyword is only feasible for the this uh, initialization. You must have a declaration plus initialization at same time, right?
Okay. Yeah.
Right. Mm.
Right.
Cannot do in the two separate line. Let's say I'm trying to do this way. Bar, I say like h here, and here I am trying to h equal to 90. These are not allowable things, right? This is the compiler is not happy.
Oh,
Okay,
okay. Okay. Yeah.
here compiler is not happy. You cannot say ki first I am declare bar keyword and later I can initialize value, because
Mm-hmm.
at the whenever this code going to compile, compiler need help ki what is the data type h. There is no any
Mm-hmm.
value, so how compiler identify ki this is the integer, float, double, what?
Right.
So by
Right.
default, these are the not allowable things. You cannot do this, right?
Right.
So this is the sometime whenever we are writing some variable and we already know okay, this kind of value I am going to store, so you can use the bar keyword, right? The bar keyword
Mm.
is the not a data types. Okay, your data type is the only these things. But at a runtime, whenever code is going to compile, compiler have an intelligence ki whatever your value is assigning here, accordingly they are going to assume ki this variable is the data type of ABCD, whatever the, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So this value must be needed for a var keyword.
Mhm.
If this value not exist, this compiler cannot identify what is the data types of T.
Mm-hmm.
So one thing here notice, Java is statically typed language. What is the meaning?
Static type language.
Java is statically typed language.
Type language.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Means or each variable you must specify the variable what kind of value they are going to hold. This variable SS going to hold integer, float, double, boolean, what? You must specify. Some
Okay.
other language is a dynamically typed language. Means ki while writing code, you have to not specify at the runtime, like JavaScript. These are the languages, are the scripting language. They always not required at the writing of code or script to specify the data types. Is the float, in, double, right? But
Mm-hmm.
Java is the statically typed language. So whenever your code going to run, before run, each variable must be Java compiler know कि this is the what type. Or you can especially manually specify, or depend upon the value compiler can figure out. If compiler cannot figure out, they blame compile time error.
Okay.
Is there till now any doubt?
Yeah, it's clear. Now, Ajay bhai, if I look at this example, like
Mm,
S is equal to 78
mm,
because it's a number, so
mm,
it's like a integer.
mm.
Uh, the Java knows is integer. Now,
Right.
if I put SS dot, what are the choices it will give? Because it
Yeah.
knows it's integer.
Yes. Here, one thing
Hmm.
in Java, as I mentioned, these all are the primitive data types, right? So
Mhm.
Mhm.
for primitive data type, there is a no any attribute. You can say dot. You cannot get anything, right?
Okay, okay,
So,
okay.
some things here left. So Java have a two kind of data types. One is your primitive data types, primitive. Okay.
Mhm.
A second one is your non-primitive. Non-primitive. So primitive data type is just like a value. Value. They are only working on the value.
Mhm.
Whatever the value we have, just use the different places. There is no any kind of property. There is no any kind of methods. But
Mhm.
non-primitive, like a object, they have some attribute. They have some method. They have some function, right?
Mhm.
Right, right.
Non-value. Okay. Means it have some method name. Okay, method like two uppercase size something, right?
Right, right.
This primitive data type you cannot apply like here age. You cannot say age dot something. You cannot get something. There is no any method, a variable or attribute.
Right, right, right.
So non-primitive data type don't have any, does not have a, does not have any prop methods. Okay, already I have written. Methods are property.
Properties. Okay.
These are your primitive data types, and these are the non-primitive data types. Means non-
So then character value should be non-primitive type data
okay,
by, isn't it?
primitive. This is the primitive.
Okay.
All are the
Okay.
this is the this is
So
the
only string is non-primitive. String.
Non.
string is not primitive.
Not okay.
Answer right.
Oh, that's only string or any other.
All the Java provided classes. Okay, you in the future classes will also discuss uh, primitive data types and user defined data types. Sometime this word also known as user defined data types, right?
Okay.
Primitive data types, or you can say user defined data types. You can also make own data type. Your user can also create own data types, right?
Okay.
User defined data type. So we'll the later part study as a Java programmer, we can also define my own data type. Not always use this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right, right.
Always not use integer, byte, float, or a string. Even I can declare my own data types. Here, data types in the Java generally refer as object. In future, we'll study how we can define our own user-defined data types. Okay, let me. Here, right, I am class and my object. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
So this is my defined data types. And here I can say ki my object OB. So notice here I am using this data type kya? User defined data types. My object and this is the variable name.
Mm-hmm.
And if you
Oh,
read it, by default they are uh, not initialized. So compiler blame here ki this variable is not initialized, right? So you have to
Mm-hmm.
initialize value. So first things, think what value I can initialize here.
Object. That's like.
In Java, to initialize your user-defined data types, we have to use the keyword new, and your my class.
Right. Okay.
So notice these data types you directly assign the value because compiler know कि this is the integer data types and I allocate 16-bit at 28-bit space. But for
Right.
your data types, compiler don't know कि how many number of byte I'm going to allocate. So here new keyword used to allocating the size.
Okay.
Here I can declare variable like integer x in float f double e long any kind of I can declare variable.
Mhm.
Okay? So here the size of my object would be plus size of this plus size of this plus size of this plus size of this.
Okay. Okay. Okay.
So due to that, we use the keyword new and then mention this is the my user defined data types. So now compiler going to allocate memory for all these. They need the bigger chunk of memory space. So in
Right.
this way, you can define your user defined. Let's say I define the my class user. Okay, user, and user can have a like here a string name. User can have a age, right?
Mhm.
So this is the
Right.
user defined data types. And here I can create user1 equal to new user. So here you can declaration and plus initialization are the same way. So this is the user defined data types, right?
Mhm.
The user defined data type always we have to use the keyword new keyword to initialize value. Declaration there is no problem. While initializing value we have to use the new keyword. New keyword here is the what is the meaning of keyword? Keyword means a reserve word that understand by your only compiler. You cannot use this new keyword as a variable name, right? Here
Mhm.
you cannot say like integer new equal to 90. This is the keyword that means this keyword is only used by a specific place, right?
Right.
This is
Yeah.
like not you cannot say variable name like char. Here, integer data type variable name. Variable name should be always non-reserved keyword. If you go to the Google, you can Google out Java keyword. So these are the list of Java keywords which are the reserved words. As a Java programming language, we cannot use these as a variable name. So abstract, continue, for, new, right? Switch,
Mhm.
package, private, public. These are the list of word is known as a keyword, right?
Mhm. Mhm.
These keyword are used by your program for a specific purpose and compiler know the meaning. But you cannot use these keyword, yeah, these words for your variable name, yeah, your class name or your method name. Is it okay?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So these things must be remember. So there are two kind of data types. One is the primitive data types. Primitive data types hold for the number system, yeah, float system, or conditional value true false.
Mhm.
And all other data types like user, employee, department are known as a user defined data types. And user defined data types, how can define? You have to write your class keyword and your class name. Here also, this is the kind of a name. So we
Mhm.
have to follow the same naming convention. Here you can not use any reserve word. Like here I can say this is a reserve keyword like abstract. You cannot use the class abstract here. Or this is a
Oh.
reserve keyword. The
Yeah.
reserve here you can use the non-reserve keyword. Very so look like a variable name always start with the lowercase, right? And here
Mhm.
class name always start with the uppercase. This is the guideline, but it is non-mandatory. You can say here G small. It's also works. There is no problem, right?
But it shouldn't be like, okay.
Guidelines is that always class name start with your first character letter, and variable name always start with the lowercase.
Okay.
Right. Okay. Understood. That's the standard.
That's standard. And for initializing your primitive data types, you can directly assign this value, right? You're
Mhm.
assigning value, but user-defined data types, you have to first allocate memory, and then you can use. Like here, I'm allocating user class. But here, if you run user, you notice I'm getting just a user one. But here's some garbage value, right? Notice.
Right. Right.
But I want this user is a user defined data type. They have a two field like name and age. I want to user one have a some name and some age. So in future classes, I'll say how can initialize this value. As of now, this is the simplest way. You can say here user one dot name equal to on, and say user one dot age, right? You notice if first and later part I initialize and again print. This is the one way you can. This is the one thing. This is user defined data types, and these are the attribute or property, right?
Mhm.
Right.
So you can initialize the property in this way. And you notice run here, you can notice we are getting like user one. Okay. So here you can write in this way: user one name and user one age. So you get value here. Same you print here. So first time if you print here user one, there is a no name, no age. You are getting some default value, right? Null default the 0. So first time you will notice user one have a null and default age. But when I reinitialize Johnson, this you are getting the value this, right?
So it is running two times.
Uh, no, I am printing two times here.
Okay. It's
I'm just
printing.
trying to say if you just create user defined data types, and by default they are printing with a
Null value because it did not have
so
value.
now there is no default value. Now I initialize the user one and now again print the same, then I'm getting the value, right?
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
Because
Yes.
this is the due to that they are getting it two times. So this is the one way you can create the user defined data types and initialize the value, right?
Right. Yeah.
So this is not the standard way. Later part, whenever we read the different features of class and object, we'll discuss what are the proper way to initialize this object. Okay, but this is
Okay.
the one way you can set the attributes of your user defined data types. This is user defined data types. You can set
Mm.
whatever the property you have. So this is the your this is the sometime known as a Java variable name. Okay, variable name, or you can say field, or you can say property, right? So this string is or int is. So sometime I say this is a field, sometime I say this is a property, or right, and this is your class name. Okay? This is my class name or user defined data type name. User defined data type name, right? User
Right.
defined data type name, your field one, field two, yeah, property one, property two.
Mhm.
Later part, sometime I'll discuss detail. Sometime this is known as instance variable or class variable. I'll discuss later part, right?
Okay.
But as of
Sure.
now, sometimes say this is the variable, or sometime field, sometime property. So this is about your data types. Again, recap. In Java, data types are two types: primitive data types and non-primitive. Non-primitive also known as user-defined data types. Primitive data type means that's only whole direct value. So here, these are the different primitive data types: byte, short, int, long. All these for your decimal in a whole number, float, double for your decimal number, character for single character, true false value for the boolean, and non-primitive. Currently, we have like a string class and then your user, right? And whatever that you can define. So these are the classes. Generally, known as a class. Java classes. Class. So like here, all the primitive is the value, but non-primitive is the classes. Like here, string is a by default Java provided class, right? Here, say here you are using like a
Variable.
name. So this is Java provided class itself. This is the Java library provide your classes, right? So this is the class. And similarly, we can, instead of Java provide, I also define my own class, like my object. This is a my defined classes, right? Similarly, this is my user defined classes, user one. This is the my defined classes. So you can say class name or user defined data types name. So only differences between the user defined data types and primitive is that all the primitive data types have a fixed size of allocated byte, right? So while initializing, you have to directly giving the value. But in the case of user defined data types, compiler don't know how you define your user defined data types, right? Might be you can declare one variable, two variable, three variable, four variable. Accordingly, they run time allocate memory for you. So they need a new keyword to allocating memory.
Okay. That's a runtime. So
Right, it's a runtime, memory allocation. And the last bit discuss about today, like how to declare variable, data types, variable name, and initializing the value, right? There may be two way. One way, the two lines, first declaration, then initialization. And second way, declaration plus initialization equal to assign the value, right? So depend upon the use case situations we are going to use. And we also discuss about the naming rule for any variable name. Variable name always start with a small letter, and if your variable name is more than one word, then you can use the capital letter, the second word, right? And similarly for class name, we have to follow the same guidelines. Variable name class name start with the uppercase, and if you are like user detail, so you can say write a details. So here D should be the capital letter, right? This is the just guidelines we have to follow. But Java not enforce always start with a capital letter or small capital combinations. But we just follow the some guidelines so your code are understand by each and every developer with so familiarity, right?
Right.
So is it any till now any doubt, question, confusion?
Not now, but like when we are going for more, just like practice it, then the question is going to be arise for sure.
Yes.
Yeah. Initially, maybe couple of day you have not do kind of any assignment. What tomorrow you do? Just recap. Once basic things run, then I am going to write the program, something logics, understand, right? Because until you are not know basic things, that really hard directly I write the program and explain things, right?
Yeah, I'm always like this area. That's the you took the class today. I'm always getting the confused in this area.
Okay.
That's where it is. Yeah, that's my problem is.
Okay.
Otherwise, like writing the like the Java code something, but main confusion it isn't here. So I found myself like I need to just study more in here, and then we need to discuss more in here as well.
So,
but this concept today, what you explained is clear. Like now I have a clear understanding, like what data types and everything.
That's cool. Yeah.
okay. Let's so we can wind up the session today.
Sure. Yeah.
Yes.
So I'm stop the sharing, and I'll share this link for further. Sometime you want to just recap what we discussed, so you
Sure.
can look it. And any
Easy.
doubt, confusion,
Sure.
please note while studying. And whenever you start tomorrow class, first go to your question answer session, then next topic.
Sure. Sure. Thank you.
Yeah,
Everyone.
saying something.
So
Uh,
this video will be available.
Yeah.
yes, I think I share link with Anish. Anish, can you
Yeah.
just share
Yeah.
the link?
I'm going to send it
Okay,
to
sure,
Riyadh. Yeah.
sure.
Yeah. So actually, I have one YouTube channel where I can just upload this video. You can anywhere, anytime watch it,
Sure.
right? And
Sure.
in my YouTube, lots of Java content available. In later part, I will guide you which video you can help for you. But initially, just whatever we discussing, you focus on your current thing. Once your basic thing is understand, you can easily understand all the programming language.
Sure.
Okay, that's great. That's great. Yeah, that's great.
Please feel free to ask question until you are not asking. Might be I think you understand each and everything, right?
No, no, no.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah,
Sure. Sure. Sure.
yeah.
Yeah. I'm going
So
to
far
ask
it's
you. Yeah.
clear. So far it's clear. Yeah.
Okay,
Thank you, Ajay.
initial couple of days will take some time to cover up the basic things,
Sure.
and once basic done, then we will go to the detailed programming things, right?
Sure.
Sure.
So let's close the call, and we will meet tomorrow the same time,
Tomorrow.
right?
Sure.
Perfect. Thank
Same
you.
time.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We'll
Okay,
see
Thank
you
you.
thank
tomorrow.
you. Have a nice day.
Bye, Ajay.
Bye
Thank
bye.
you.
Good night.
Bye. Good
Thank you.
night.
Good night.
Good night.